Yes, you're audible. So, very good evening to all the participants. Very happy to welcome you all for the SEEK webinar 40. And today we're going to have a very interesting session on Industry 4.0 because everywhere we are listening to this term, and many people are not really aware of the real meaning of 4.0. And today we have a wonderful speaker and my batchmate, Engineer Chokaya. He is a manufacturing and quality and lean management expert. He has over 30 plus years of corporate experience in top engineering companies like CRA Pumps, Brakes India, Arvind Exhaust India, Lucas TVS, Ashok Leyland, etc. So with such experienced person, we are going to hear about what is Industry 4.0, because we need to really know about the components and the characteristics of Industry 4.0, and also topics within Industry 4.0, what it means and what are all the things which we need to understand, and also the critical skills, what is required for Industry 4.0. And as all participants, I'm also eagerly waiting to learn a lot about Industry 4.0 from Engineer Chokaya. Over to you, Chokaya.
Good evening, everybody. Am I audible to everybody? If audible, please type yes in the chat box. Hello.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. As now the present trend is that Industry 4.0 is getting into prominence. Hello. Getting into prominence. So let us get into. I'll just share my screen. Is my screen visible to all? Hello.
Yes, you are visible, you're audible, you can go ahead.
Okay. Good evening all to the session on Industry 4.0. The agenda is, first it will be on introduction and then the topics, conclusion, and then we will have the question and answer session. Myself, Chokaya, having 30 plus years of experience, as told by Usha, I am a certified QS 9000 lead auditor and Lean Sigma black belt. This is a brief introduction about me. First of all, I would like to know how many have understanding what is Industry 4.0. Can you please say what you understand Industry 4.0 in the chat box? Okay, I have seen somebody has put IoT. Okay, Industry 4.0 is nothing but digital transformation of manufacturing, production and related industry. It is basically a cyber physical transformation of manufacturing. It is interchangeable with the fourth industrial revolution, and it takes care of entire value chain, right from getting the order from customer and supplying it back to the thing. And in the process, we have something called interaction with our vendors, etc. Everything is included in this Industry 4.0. And this is inspired by Germany's Industry 4.0. Actually, Germany during 1960s, they wanted to go from the present situation to the next level, and for that they conducted a big group of top level executives from various companies and initiated a lot of action, and that meeting was called as Industry 4.0, Germany's Industry 4.0, and then the same thing got back into the nomenclature, and it is called as the Industry 4.0. Why Industry 4.0 is important? It helps manufacturers with the current challenges. See, the current challenges, that too after COVID, there are a lot of things. Getting the supply chain in place itself is big problem. If the supply chain is not in proper, or is properly not in place, the getting the material for day-to-day production and dispatching it to the customers is becoming a bigger problem. And to do this, we need to be more flexible and reacting to the change. If X is not supplying, then we need to have a backup in such a way that either we need to change the model or by quick changeover, or you need to get into another source and get the material. And what is happening is, previously, as an automobile viewpoint, I will tell that what happened was, previously from concept to productionization and launch, it was almost 3 to 3.5 years. For example, if at all Maruti wants to launch a product, maybe Vitara Brezza is one of their product, they want to launch it. For launching today, they will be working 3.5 years back to see that, right, to get that first design is getting over, the FMEAs are completed. Then after FMEAs, then they go the, hello. Then they go to the prototype manufacturing, and then they do the trial production. Then they do the validation, whether it is meeting the thing. Then after that only they will be in a better position to launch it, so that it will be used coming in. Now what is happening, the present situation, nobody wants to wait for 3 to 3.5 hours, 3 to 3.5 years to get a new product. Now everybody is expecting minimum 2 years to do get a model change or model revamp. To do that, Industry 4.0 helps a lot, and this is very consumer centric. You should know that now. Previously, initially, it was how it was: the producer produces and the consumer buys everything. But now it is not that. Everybody, the consumer is having more options, and he wants everything to be do that, and then he wants that to be get it from the for example, now you can see that mobiles, okay, 10 years back it was, we were having only the Nokia 1310 of that handset. Now what is happening, we are having every 6 months or 3 months you are having new thing. So the consumer preferences change, and we need to take care of the consumer preferences. And as you told that somebody has put it in the IoT. Actually, IoT is Internet of Things. Basically, what is the difference between Industry 4.0 and IoT? Both uses internet and wireless connectivity. That is the only common thing. IoT, the technology is used to impact our daily life. In Industry 4.0, the concepts are applied to influence and optimize the production. Basically, what happens is, when the TV came initially, what happened was, we didn't have any remote. So what used to happen is, everybody would like to have a manual only thing. So normally we have to go and change the valve or the knob to do the setting. Now, but it is not like that. The remote is there, from sitting from your comfortable sofa, you do that thing. And recently, now what happened, previously the fans and other things were not being used in remote. Now we are having fans in remote. So the Industry 4.0 applies this concepts. Then now into the thing, I would like to understand how many knows what is meant by What do you mean by industrial revolution? Can somebody put it on the chat box? Okay. Okay. Now, kindly understand, industrial revolution is that what happened was the manufacturing of goods moved from small shops and homes to large factories. That is the basic thing that now big cultural changes happened. People were moving from rural areas to big cities to do that. And now with more and more customer requirements increasing, business transparency and consumer behavior are taken into the product design, and that this is what is done. Now, first industrial revolution, that is the industry 1.0, that was the first industrial revolution. It happened in the year 1784, where the mechanical and production facilities were started from the conventional thing, and by using of water and steam power. What happened was transformation was happened from agriculture and handicrafts to industry and factories, where mass production was beginning. Then in industry 2.0, what happened was, this started in 1870. This brought the rise of electronics and telecommunication and to the computers into that. Sorry, that is in the in industry 2.0, the technology revolution started. Systemized production was beginning into where previously nobody was concentrating on methods and the way of doing it. So the mass production, when the mass production started, we have to do lot of modification in the production process, and with electrical power and with more fuel like petrol and diesel being the prominent, and lot of railroads were put because we were able to make steel cheaper, and that helped to the transformation of transportation into that. And because of transportation, the advent of more number of automobiles get into that. Till that time, we were having only Ford was having only a Model T only was happening. Then after Industry 2.0, many number of other products have started. And that then Industry 3.0, it started in 1969. You can see that from 1784 to 1870, then 1969, almost within 100 years. Here, what happened? Electrical and IT culture with automation into the production process started, and because of this, lot of changes have happened. That what has happened, this opened up the space and research in space research and biotechnology related products get into prominence. After this, what happened was, then the Industry 4.0, it happened in the year, it started somewhere around 1990s. This is the combined enterprises connecting the production facility with IoT. Here, the boundaries between physical, digital, and biological world started going out, and everything became interlinked, and fusion and advance in artificial intelligence, robotics, and Internet of Things have started. And in this, because of the fusion and advances in artificial intelligence and robotics, lot of changes the way it happened. Like a lot of disruptive technologies got into act, and this has helped everybody to become more smarter. The like introduction of smartphone helped a lot in this thing, and now, as you know, that many things now we are having everything in just as an app we can do that. And latest in that is that in Sweden, just like how in the credit card the microchip is fitted, the human beings are fitted with, they are operated and fitted with the microchip, and their movement, their preferences, etc., are noted and traced back for consign. This is basically done for understanding the consumer behavior and products to be designed and manufactured based on individual needs. And flexibilities have started coming into that. And as the industrial revolution started, in the present condition, lot of skill requirements have changed. Basically, for the fourth industrial revolution, the following 10 critical skills are required. First is the complex problem solving. What is meant by complex problem solving? It is a collection of self-regulated psychological processes and activities necessary in dynamic environment to achieve ill-defined goals that cannot be achieved by routine action. This is basically, in a simple word, you need to think outside the box to get things done. And in this, some of the examples of complex problem are climate change, where you cannot have this is the right answer or this is the right solution or this is the wrong solution. World poverties. What is happening? Why certain countries, the economy is growing, other countries are becoming poorer and poorer. We can have some factors, but we cannot say that this is the only issue because of which this is happening. And second one is the critical thinking. Critical thinking, as the name itself is that, it is basically skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, and evaluating the information by your observation, reasoning, and that. Here also you should know that certain things by critical thinking, okay, you may say that, okay, this may be one of the reasons. It is like previously how the doctor used to diagnose this. Okay, before the thing of the reports and other things, he will say, okay, these are all the symptoms. Okay, we will try to see that these are all the activities that we can try to do that. By doing this, sometimes you may get, okay, then if you say that this is, by doing this, you are getting okay. So this is the solution for this. Now you please follow that medication like you, and for this, you need to have a good observation and analysis skill. And as you say that in the fourth industrial revolution and in the industry 4.0, the data analytics is one of the key and important parameter that is coming out. And if at all you need to have a better living or better job and other things, is that then third is the creativity. As creativity is that it is to find a abnormal solution to a normal problem using your this is thinking outside the box. And people management. See, this people management is becoming a critical quality now, and it is a critical skill requirement. Why? Because see, initially when we were in 90s and 2000, what happened was many were having joint families. Now what is happening in the advent of Y2K issues coming and increase in computer knowledge and computer applications in India, what has happened? Many have started, both parents have become, they are employed and they were working, and nucleus families started coming into place, and the single child with that, and the single child used to have everything what he wishes, he used to get it. But when we go for an when we go for a industry type of atmosphere, we need to interact with people. When we interact with people, we need to manage. Everybody will not be the same type of people. There may be child ego people, there may be adult ego people, there may be somebody who are 360 degrees apart. So people management skills are becoming a thing, and related to that, the coordination between each other, because there used to, in any industry, there will be a lot of departments and functions. All the department and function have to coordinate within each other and to each other to see that the common objective of meeting the customer requirement. So this is also becoming a critical skill. Then comes emotional intelligence. As it says, as the name indicates, emotional intelligence. It depends on the ability to monitor one's own and other people's emotion. See, emotion, you cannot have a human being, you cannot have a same type of solution to each and everything. Maybe sometime today, for the similar situation, you may have a solution which will be working, but you cannot vouch that the same solution will work 100% every time. Sometimes you may have to see the other environmental condition also and see that how the individual emotion is that, based on which you need to take action. For this, examples are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. For emotional intelligence, relationship management is one of the key characteristics which we need to do that. Next is the judgment and decision making. See, as you know that with all these things, when the new technology is that, you need to have a good judgment and decision making ability. That is that. And service orientation, as you told that customer is king. You have to ensure customer is taken care without any wrongdoing to him. Whatever he says, we should take. That doesn't mean we should stoop down and take care of his. No. Whatever that is needed by him, we should understand and do that. And as he said, that negotiation, it is part and parcel of supply chain and other things, where we and also between the supplier and customer, we need to have better negotiation. And the most important, even though it is coming as the last, is the cognitive flexibility. It is basically switching between thinking of about two different concepts or thinking multiple concepts at the same time, which nowadays you cannot. With now, with the present condition and also with the COVID and other lot of disruptions, you cannot have the previously, okay, this is the only activity I'll do. I can do this activity, and after finishing this, I can do that. No, that is not like that. Now you have to have lot of parallel activities, and for doing this, sometimes you may have to, when you are thinking for the solution, you may have to put yourself in the other person's shoes and understand what is his needs and what is his pain point. And only by doing this, if you put and do the think it over and make the process or solution, then only it will be acceptable by everybody and it will be implemented. Kindly note that if you are not buying in people and make them a part of the solution, whatever the best solution you have, you may not be in a position to execute it. This is one of the key characteristics which you should understand. Then next, after coming to the critical skill set, what is that makes industry happen? As you know that networking, progressive miniaturization, basically what happened, the first supercomputer that was developed was almost bigger as 1 kilometer big, with it was consumed in a big building. Now you have tablets, laptops, which are much faster and user friendly and does this purpose what it's supposed to be. And most important, that is the mobile device management. That's what I said, that nowadays many of things are becoming app. Slowly your living itself is going to become an app where you will have what is the schedule, you'll be, it will, everything will be, you will have to program it, and automatically is that okay, at 6 o'clock it will automatically have a alarm saying that time is 6 o'clock, with a lot of voice interaction. Time is 6 o'clock, you are a meeting at 7 o'clock, so you are supposed to start now. Only if you start by 6 o'clock, you can finish all your activities and be ready by 7 o'clock. So get ready, and your mobile itself will automatically give voice message. And whenever you want to go out, okay, you will say that okay, this is the route. You put the route, and then automatically it will take care of the, using the Google Maps, it will take from the place where you are starting, it will end to the place where you are supposed to go. And all these things, what will happen, make this mobile in a device management will make your life easier and simpler. But thing is that your personal and professional work may not be done. It will be a part of that. Now, as with COVID, there is nothing like office life and personal life, because working from home makes you to manage between your personal things and office work. Like that, it will become. As I told, that main characteristics, what are all that? First, even though the fusion of technology is to save time, enable certain decision, and reduce errors, what happens, what is the best thing is that is happening? Decentralization. See, with fusion of technology, decentralization will be part now. For example, now you can see that a lot of open source softwares are available. Why open source software is available? Using the same software, you can do a lot of parallel activities. And by doing that, it makes your, what is it, that work simpler. So that is an interoperability. Ability of the system to work with another system using the same system. This is also, you can see that now a lot of web browsers. The basic thing is that web browser will have the protocols, what is there, and by simply following the protocols, automatically now you can see that previously when initially the computer was there in somewhere in 90s and 2000, we used to have a big data warehouse system room and everything, where all the hardwares will be there and everything will be there. They say that this is critical, this is company's property, this is the secrecy of company, you cannot so there will be a lot of safety and security measures. And then now it is not like that. You have cloud where everything is available in cloud, and what you need to do, you just need to rent, and you may not be even know where your cloud storage is available. For example, for a company that is working in India, their cloud storage may be in Netherlands, and for some company in USA, it will be in somewhere in Sweden or somewhere, and they may not be knowing where their server is there. But only thing is that data security is provided. And Third is the virtualization. See, what happens is with in industry 4.0 with virtual reality getting into place, what is happening is it makes lot of changes where you can do a it makes your to do a virtual analysis before implementation, and by doing this what happens is lot of unnecessary steps can be eliminated. Just like in lean, how we say that we identify what is value added, what is non value added, elimination of value added by elimination of non value added and making only value added as a part of the thing, virtualization. And next one is the real time responses. See, with the advent of lot of computing method and the hardware thing, that just within a click you will be able to see. For this you can see that previously what used to happen, whenever we go to, whenever you want to book a ticket, you need to go to a railway station or airport, stand in the queue, wait for 2 hours, 3 hours, get into the counter, and when you go into the counter they say that sorry, the counter is closed or the reservation is booked. But now what is happening, sitting from your living room at with your comfort sofa, using the internet, you're booking. This is the thing. And as I say, that service orientation, it is always there. Then comes the what are all the components. See, components is basically, as I said, that it is like there are 4 basic components. One is the horizontal integration. It brings a concept of new type of worldwide value chain throughout. Second is the vertical integration. What happens is here the hierarchical subsystem at the product level configure and high flexibility in the product line. As you say that you'll be knowing that when you're in industry. See, what happened is previously in automobile manufacturing, for example, Maruti, they were having one line where what they used to happen is they used to make majority of the Maruti 800, and for special they will plan it in such a way that other models like Jeep and 4x4 is made in a specific time, so that because a lot of changeovers and other things are there. Now it is not like that. In the single line, maybe first 3 cars will be Maruti, Zen will be there. Then after that, we'll have the Vitara Brezza diesel model. Then after that, you'll have that Ciaz. Then so what is happening is in the same line, all the products are made and the flexibility is introduced. So this helps in reducing the cost and also to make the productionization easier, and waiting time reduces for the customer. And engineering integration, this is basically with PLM in place, the product development and manufacturing activities are coordinated, and the product life cycle, as I told initially, has come down. Previously, it used to be 3 to 4 years. Now it has been reduced to 2 years. And now I think latest thing is that Suzuki, I think they are planning to reduce their product life cycle to less than 1.5 years. And another thing is that acceleration through exponential technology. See, with machine learning, deep learning, advanced robotics, IoT, the efficiency is becoming very quick and flexibility is increased. This is basically helping everybody to understand how we can make things simpler and easier, and see that the flexibility is always there. Now, Okay, now that we have understood what are all the characteristics, and now we'll get into the application of thing. Can somebody type in the chat box what are all the normal application you know about Industry 4.0? I'll wait for 2 seconds, 2 minutes. I'll wait for a minute. You can type it. Hello, is everybody in line? Okay, feedback link, AI, robots. Good. See, the issue with the webinars and other things is that in classroom session, by seeing your face, we can able to get your feedback. But now in this, we have to get in. Yeah, I have get a lot of things like virtual reality, cloud computing, etc. Yes, good, excellent. First is that augmented reality or the virtual reality. This supports lots and lots of service. As you see that in this, even though the system is in their infancy, you can do lot of checks and pre-checks. For example, in the same picture, you see that the turbine which is inside, how it functions, what is that, how it is there, how is the load that is being there available during operation, everything can be done. And another thing, virtual reality is that now training is becoming one of the high points in virtual reality, because with a lot of things where the present situation, previously people were having, see, when I joined the industry in 90s, what used to be there is we will be having almost 1 year as a graduate engineer trainee, where we will be put into various departments, understand what are them. Now it is not like that. Everybody is put maximum of 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then are put into their working. So for this, it is also that in virtual reality, the decision making will be improved. Decision making process is very much improved, because you can see that where it will be that if needed, we can do some simulation also. What is that? How it is working? If something is there, what is that we need to do that? And many a time, what happens is, and in the virtual reality, we may even get the solution for a lot of issues which we may not be knowing conventionally. And it makes the diagnosis very simple, very, very simple. Actually, 2 weeks back, I went to a software firm where they were into virtual reality doing training for service technicians and everything, where they made it so simple and easier that it helps the service technician to understand how it is working, what are all the various parts, and then by putting him on the training modules for 2 weeks, he is becoming an expert into the field, which is very difficult to train. Otherwise, it used to be 6 months to 1 year for them to understand, and many a time they make mistakes, then only learn. But now it is not like, you can see what is okay, what is not okay. Then this is the best thing in Industry 4.0, additive manufacturing. That is, example is 3D printing. See, when I was saying that product life cycles are becoming thing, and new models are becoming introduced in less than 2 years and 1.5 years, how it is possible? Because of this one invention called 3D printing, where the prototypes, where the 3D printing used to make the component by additive manufacturing, and you get the prototype parts and use produce it and fix it and see that how it behaves. If there is anything you need to do modification, immediately we can do the program change and we can make one more part and doing this. And also this helps in making small batches of customized products, where it will be previously it used to be, for example, I can quote only from manufacturing experience in automobile industry, where see, previously, for example, if at all you want to have a spare parts for a car, for example, or a rim, which is not that moving, because once you put the car, buy the car, the rim, the wheel base will be coming for years together. But suddenly when you go for an accident or it goes into a pothole and it gets break, getting a replacement will be very difficult. And if you go to the OEM supplier, you will say that no, the batch quantity is, they are asking minimum 50 numbers. For 15 numbers only, then whatever the cost they will be producing. But now with 3D printing, we can get that using 3D printing, additive manufacturing, you can get it, and the strength and reliability, which is much more good than the regular thing. So this is the thing. Then the next is the Internet of Things, industrial Internet of Things, which everybody knows. Embedded computing is coming, field devices to communicate, and as I told, now there are small, like how smartphones are there are smart houses where everything is operated with the sensor and other things. And right from when you are getting into the car from in your office, you can switch on your ACs and other things, ensure that all your living room, etc., is put on the required thing. So when you get into the house, everything is there, and you can have the room temperature maintained at 26 or 27. And certain cases, you can even program your TVs in such a way that automatically when you get into the home after 7 o'clock, 7 to 7:30, this serial, 7:30 another channel, another serial, it will be there, it is going there. And the best thing is that everything is happening in real time. That is the best thing on that. Next is the big data and analytics. As I have told that the future will be only on big data and analytics. It supports real-time decision making. See, various things are like travel, education, telecom, e-commerce, media, retail, finance, everything is there. And this big data and analytics helps you in getting into the critical thing. For example, whenever you do a search in Google, whenever you do a Google search, what happens is immediately you are getting a response with similar type of products. For example, if we are planning to go to, if we're thinking of planning to go to Chennai from Chennai to Madurai, if you start booking a app saying that, okay, from Chennai to Madurai, what are all the buses available? Automatically, what happens is within the next 5 minutes, you will be seeing that you will get a lot of SMSs and pop-ups saying that, okay, there are buses available right from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. This is the bus. This bus gives AC. This bus gives sleeper. This bus is sitting arrangement. Everything you will get it. And also next to that, what happens is more than this. The next thing, what happens is, okay, if you go to Madurai, if you are in need of hotels and booking, how it is be there, then you will be getting a big chunk of pop-up saying that in Madurai, these are all the hotels available. From this price range to this price range, these are all the rooms available, and you can get in book. So this is the advantage of big data and analytics. This is the future. Whoever wants to think on employability or thing, kindly try to do a course on data analytics and big data. This is going to be the future. In another 2 years, 2.5 years, please see that this big data and analytics is that which is going to play a major role for you to have the employability opportunities. And then the cloud computing, as I told now, previously we used to have the big storages of hardware and other things. Now it is not there. Many, I myself is finding it now. And even now, for example, I am thinking of getting some website on my own. For this, what is happening is, I don't need to that. I can just pay a rent of maximum 500 rupees to 400 rupees per month. I can get good my own web page, my own email thing. Everything will be there. So how it is possible? Because of cloud computing. And just like how big data and analytics is there, cloud computing is also the next bigger thing that is happening. And this has grown beyond boundaries. And just like how we say that sky is the limit, this is becoming a thing on that. Next. Then advanced simulation. See, this advanced simulation is that which is coming into place where for a casting company, casting manufacturing company, or that we can see where are all the weak points, whether the material flow is uniform or it is having anything that, so that because in casting there is a lot of defects that is called shrinkage and other things, blowholes and other things, that you can simulate the condition beforehand and see that how it is there, how it is working, and see that if there is a thing, then we can say that how, whether we need to angle up the pouring or we need to tilt the core box or something. All those things will be there. And by doing this, we will see that the casting is produced without any defect. And by doing this, what happens is the rejection is literally eliminated. First time through, quality is ensured. Next is the autonomous robot. As I have seen a lot of people putting in that robots. See, what happened is, in the initial stage when the robots came, it was pick and place and it was happening for one or two things. But now it is not like that. Now we have methods in which we have a series of robots interacting with each other safely. And by this, what happens is, the first robot, where just like how two people are working in industry, the robots work in such a way that, but the advantage here is, okay, initial cost is good, high, but the thing is that repeatability, efficiency and effectiveness is very good. And nowadays what is happening, slowly the repetitive and monotonous jobs are getting moved into the autonomous robot stage, which will be good. That is going to be the order of the day. Then cyber security system. See, with increased connectivity and use of standard communication, data security is a very, very critical thing. And because of this critical requirement of data security, we need to have a best cyber security system. And here also this is also another what is it, that job skill that is going to be the thing. And if at all you want to have a simpler and easier way of working, getting into the doing a course on cyber security will help you think. This will help you to, and with now more and more digitization and automation and the cloud computing getting into that, cyber security is going to be the one of the biggest requirement. Then, as I told, that horizontal and vertical integration. See, previously for okay, for industry people maybe knowing it. In 80s and 90s, coordinating between departments is one of the thing. Then there used to be some department called production planning and control, who used to interact with each other, and they will be coordinating with individual department to understand it. Now but ERP getting into place, everybody is having the data on their hand, and everybody knows what is required, what is the requirement to tomorrow, what is needed, what is not needed, and what is to be produced, and what is the material shortage available, or what is that is needed, and who is to that. So what happens is everybody gets the first hand information on their system on hand and with real time, and these data are available across the company or organization, and everybody knows where to concentrate, where not to concentrate. So these are all the 9 major applications of industry 4.0. Benefits. Then comes the benefit. As I told that with more number of automation and digitization, productivity and better management of resources are happening. Decisions making is becoming efficient and with based on real-time information. Optimized and integrated productive process. As I told no previously, as in a lean, what is that is we identify what is value added, what is non-value added, remove the non-value added and make only the value added more prominent, and do that. Like this, using the virtual reality and thing, you can simulate, understand what is that is value added, what is not value added, and you can remove the process. And by doing this, one of this thing is that okay, people who work with in a service industry may be knowing that previously what used to happen is we were having for big process shops and other things, what used to be, for example, any chemical industry or thing is that for controlling each and every section, there used to be an individual person monitoring the system, how it is to be there, what are all the things he has to do, what is that he need to look into it, what is that he is, what are all the issues, then what is the corrective, what is the correction you need to do that now. But it is not happening. We have got SCADA systems in place which helps to program it everything in a better way and simulate whether any issues there. If exists the issue, automatically there is a backup that is getting activated, and by doing this the system gets coordinated and it requires so instead of 10 people working in before 10 systems, it is like 1 people working for something and just monitoring whether everything goes okay is there. So this reduces the manpower requirement. This decreases the safety requirement, because in the coordination between individual A and individual B sometimes maybe required in the previous system. Now it is not there. Like coordination itself is inbuilt into the system. So it is a thing. And as you said, that flexibility, the best example is the car line, where the single line we have different models producing that. And as I told that when the manufacturing lead time, as I initially said, that from concept to launch, using the industry 4.0 concepts, you can reduce the lead times drastically, the throughput times drastically, and execute it. Benefits. One is the greater productivity, effective resource management, decision making, increased flexibility, communication across people in the same thing, increase in first time quality as prototype verified and run, and optimized assembly lines. The advantages. Individual customer requirements can be catered. See, initially what used to happen is like Dell, how the specialty of Dell computers is that you can order the computers, the laptops or whatever that you want with definite what is that hardware you wanted, what is the type of RAM you wanted, what is the storage you need, etc., etc. You can tell. They will make custom built laptops to you like this. Now Toyotas in US, they made it in such a way that you can order your preferences in such a way, the vehicle, whatever that is, in this particular vehicle, I need, this is the features I want, these are all the things I need, etc., etc. If you give, they will produce the vehicle from the order to dispatch. It will take not more than 4 days. That is the advantages of this system. And as you know that with more number of things that there is a lot of relief to employees. Okay, it has got its negative side also, but the work-life balance is there. So you when you have a lot of automated systems in such a place that it is not, you are not needed physically to be present each and every time. The high and expensive technical standard, because the cyber security and other things is needed, you may have to go for a thing. And biggest advantage is that new national and global challenges. Okay, what is happening is previously for a model that is being made in US, the same model that is being made in Japan, to come into India, it may take 4 to 5 years. But now it is not that. Simultaneous global launch. For example, one of the recent example is that Kia. Kia, they introduced the model last year, which is BS6 compliant. They launched the vehicle in 6 countries: Korea, Indonesia, India, Southeast Asian countries like Bangladesh, and everything launched at the same time, which is a thing. It is like, in the simpler terms, like previously what used to happen whenever we had a big release of some big actors there. For example, Rajini release means it will be first released in Chennai. Then if it comes to the BNC centers or some remote villages, it used to take almost 6 to 7 months. But now it is not like that. With the cube and other things coming into place, what happens is everything, the releases are simultaneous. Whatever the release is happening in Chennai, the same day he is in Abuna. Now, to more than that, what is happening is with OTT coming into that, now you can have, what is that, by sitting in your room, you can see in your TV. So these are all the advantages of that. As advantages are there, there are some disadvantages also. One is the lack of data, because with lot of things is there, the data is there, getting into the data and doing analysis, it becomes then. And another thing is the manipulation. Okay, what happens is data is available, but somebody has to look at it and get to use it. Because of people not used to the data analysis, sometimes manipulation may be there. Third, as you know that with COVID time also, we are seeing that the connectivity issues are still there. That to a country like India, where we are now. See, actually for this webinar yesterday, myself and Usha had a simulation, but yesterday the connectivity was very poor. Then I have to make a lot of adjustments in such a way that today this program is run without any problem. Okay, but how this connectivity is ensured, that is going to be a thing, because with more number of people getting into that, more number of people getting into bandwidth issues are there. And high and expensive skill requirement. What is happening is, because with more sophisticated system in place, the handling is also there. Okay, now that we have completed the thing, that now we get into the conclusion. The conclusion is, this enables companies, Industry 4.0 enables companies to create smarter products and services by reducing cost and increasing the efficiency. The smart factory makes solution making the setup simpler, need-based installation, and high degree of scalability. Help companies to optimize the process and become effective and efficient. The disadvantage is that because of robo coming into place, job requirement for repetitive jobs may go out of thing. And market demand for outdated products. For example, previously what used to happen is 15 years, 10, 20 years, the product life cycle used to be there. But now it is not like that. It is maximum 2 years or 3 years. After that, even in your phone, you have to automatically switch off to your newer phone. So it may require some cost, and another thing is that inefficient products will be automatically going into that. And with this, one small saying from by Baranji Benes, I finish my thing. The factory of the future will have 2 employees, a human and a dog. The task of the human will be to feed the dog, and the task of the dog is to stop human to touch the automated thing. With this, I finish my program. Are you okay with it? I would like to have a feedback in the chat box so that I'll be in a position to understand whether the program went on okay or any modification to be needed.
Thank you, Chokeya. A lot of good appreciation for your content, especially you have covered a lot. Exhaustive coverage of the entire industry 4.0 and very informative. A lot of people have mentioned very informative, no modification needed, sir. You're superb. So it was a wonderful session. Really, we enjoyed and updated our knowledge. And anybody who would like to ask any doubt or any question or interact with Engineer Chokeya, you can unmute and you can talk to him. You can stop sharing the screen, Chokeya.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just understanding how to. Okay.
Stop sharing option on top of your screen.
I've stopped.
Yeah. You need to stop.
I'm not. I've stopped. I'm not seeing where it is.
On top. Wherever you'll have a green light, no, the sharing your screen, you'll have a red one. Stop share.
I'm just stop share. Yeah, I've stopped. Okay. Sorry.
Anybody would like to talk to him and ask some questions, please go ahead. Unmute your mic and talk to him. Your feedback link has been pasted in the chat box. And all of them have given very informative session, very good session, very useful session. No modification required, is excellent session, excellent presentation.
I should thank you only for asking me to go with it, because actually I've given you one more topic, but you said you go with Industry 4.0. I should thank you only for this.
Oh, let us understand from basics. Let us know what the reality is, where we are. Technically, we can go a little higher, but this is required for everybody in this world. Everybody should know what is Industry 4.0, irrespective of the branch. I want everybody to participate. I feel bad if it's only a very limited set of people participate, saying that this is not my area. So we need to provide something for everybody. So that's why I said we'll start with Industry 4.0, because a lot of people have not understood it clearly. what does it mean? The revolution, industry revolution. So that is mandatory that we talk to somebody who is from industry, especially who has a wide knowledge and experience. That's the reason I was requesting you for Industry 4.0. And thank you very much. I think everybody is clear with you went in.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Who is it?
Yeah, this is Ashok Kumar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I had gone through this presentation by Ms. Chokia. As everybody else also pointed out, I also mentioned in my feedback, the coverage is very wide and is gone into the basics. And I find it's more application oriented, which makes it very attractive. The presentation has been excellent, covering all the topics.
Yes, yes. We will go one by one. First, we wanted to talk about the basic Industry 4.0. Then one by one, we will take each and every aspect, maybe IoT or cloud computing. So we will take one by one, and then we will go in depth on those topics. Definitely, we will take your suggestion. Thank you for very much, Ashok Kumar, for your kind suggestion for giving us a feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thanks, Ashok,
Hello.
for your thing.
Thank you.
Ashok,
Hello, good evening, sir.
what are you doing? What is your profession? Ashok?
Who? Yeah, I was a colleague with Chokia earlier.
Okay, okay.
I have retired from about after 38 years of experience in various industries like Michael Bosch, TVS group companies like Sundar Fasteners, Builds India, Axles India, and so on. My last assignment was with Axles India when I retired 2 years back.
That's wonderful, sir. Nice to have you in our session. Why we have taken such a basic topic is we have all students as participants here, and they need to learn what is Industry 4.0, and then when we go higher and higher, they'll understand better. So thank you so much.
Yeah, one point I want to add actually, especially when you mentioned about students getting the knowledge of this topic, what makes the difference between Mr. Chokia's presentation and earlier presentations I've listened to in Industry 4.0 is that he has made quite simple and application oriented. That will make it attractive for people to move more into the details.
They can visualize. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
what I wanted to add. Thank you.
We are very honored to have you in our session.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Because I was waiting for it. I got the message that today there is a program and I made sure that I'm available at home to attend to it.
So nice of you, sir. So nice of you. Because we get a lot of webinar invitations. When we register, we have a lot of interest to attend, but we forget the time or sometimes it overlaps and we miss many webinars we wish to. But I'm very happy that you made it a point and you attended. We are very honored. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, yes, please.
Hello. Yes, good evening, madam.
Yes,
May I ask some questions to Mr. Host?
Sure.
Yes, madam. After being hearing to the lecture of Mr. Host, I would like to pose some questions regarding the scenario of Industrial 4.0 and how do we develop our organizational capacities for change, our people, our management process, and our foresight. Is my question audible, madam? May I suppose to repeat it?
Yeah, it is audible. You should understand that now with the advent of lot of technology upgradation and other things, industries automatically they're going into 4.0. You should understand this COVID has brought a lot of change into digitization of their application because they also now understood they cannot work in the old type of culture where one person gets into each and everything. Understand now people have understood, and you know that I'll simply tell you one thing. See, whatever this digitization we are supposed to do some 10 or 15 years, this COVID, a single COVID for 4 months has put it lot of things into place. Otherwise, these type of webinars on new modern manufacturing concept would not have happened. It used to be a bigger problem, but now with this and slowly every companies have get into that. And also you should understand there is a cost involved, but also there is a return on investment also. And many cases, as good companies like TVS and OEM some companies, they are investing in a lot of things in the IoT. See, what is happening is on many of the cases, simple cases, I'll say that, you know, in casting, there is a operation called fettling. After we take it, the casting from the pouring and do that, we'll have flashes. That flash removal is one of the biggest problem, and it was a repetitive thing, and we used to have too many manpower used to that. Now what is happening is, it is many of the casting companies, they have incorporated the robots and bots for their fettling activities. By doing this, they have reduced, one is the fatigue and availability of people for doing that such type of manual operation are little. Now with introduction of robots and that, they are able to do the fettling activity without anything, and the output is also there is nothing like on a single day, one day it will be around 50 numbers, the next day it will be only 20 numbers, like that. It is not there. You get repetitive same number of output without any problem, like that, and that will make the companies to go into that. Okay, even though the investment may be on one of the point, but it's nothing like, if at all survival, if you have to survive, you have to upgrade. It will definitely happen.
See, this industry
Yes, sir.
4.0
Yes, sir.
ultimate aim is to replace the routine work with machines and make use of the creativity of and logical thinking of human to think in much more better way and make the things much more easier. So that is what is the ultimate aim. And now necessity makes everything. Like if there is a need that they cannot get a manpower in a company, and if they find that why can't we automate all these things, why do we require more manpower on those things, then they will naturally shift from manual working to an automated. And the manual people, what they have to do is now start thinking, improve their critical thinking, improve their creativity, and they need to put in a lot of inputs which will help the industries to prosper in a better way. So that is what is the ultimate aim of shifting from the one revolution to the other revolution. And data analytics and data science and big data, everything depends upon a lot of data being collected, especially when IoT comes into picture. A lot of sensors will be there, a lot of data will be collected, and a lot of data will have to be made use of. So all the data people are sitting at home and they are working on the data being collected. So all creative jobs will increase and the routine jobs will be automated. So this is what is the ultimate meaning of Industry 4.0, and everybody will slowly start shifting towards it.
To add
Yes,
to that
madam,
one
I could
point.
completely.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yes, sir. I could completely relate the sense of madam's view and yours view, and how to overcome the causes of the 4.0 industrial revolution, so like in inequality or cyber security risk or core industries disruptions and like ethical issues. So how should we overcome these cons of industrial 4.0? And next question is there any end for this evolution, sir? Like I have heard about industrial 5.0 too in foreign countries with 9 technology, they are implementing industrial 5.0, which includes different advanced simulations like big data analytics and augmented reality. Like what was presented in 4.0, lightly it was increased to 5.0 with a bit advanced technology. So is there any end to this revolution, or it will go on existing? And smaller scale industries like smaller scale industries are not able to get into this 4.0 revolution, and higher companies which are always at the top are moving ahead with 4.0. So how to implement 4.0 solution in smaller scale industries and medium scale industries to completely compete with higher level companies?
Two things. First of all, you should understand that each revolution is a extension of the previous revolution. Now what is happening, I wanted to add to that, but I have not put it in this slide. See, now Industry 5.0 is already started. The transition between 4 and 5.0 is already there, and which is there. And one more thing, there is no end to any innovation. See, necessity is the mother of invention. See, when we have the resources depleted, automatically we'll have to go for an alternate way of working, and that is that kindles the next stage of revolution. One. Second is that you should understand that what happens is, now you say that small scale industries and everything. You should understand, after some time, as I put it in the last slide, there will be no small scale industries or big scale industry. What happens is, what happens is when the robots are made in mass production, just like how we get it in China items in marketplace, we'll get it computer, we'll get robots in such a way that it will be so cost effective that everybody will be in a position to afford to it. So that is not an issue. The change will be there, and the change will be always. Only thing is that you should understand that after some time, with the artificial intelligence becoming more and more, what do you say, that improved, certain time, if the machines are behaving much more better than man, then there may be some problem coming, but that for that, at that time, some other solution may be available. I'm saying about the present condition, but there will be some other controls that would have been initiated at that time. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful answers and response. Thank you very much. Thank you, madam, for giving this opportunity to convey my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So thank you so much. One more thing I want to say. Most of the people are conducting paid session now. Thank you, Supriya. Okay, I think we have got enough interactions, and shall we finish the session? Yes, Chokiya, you have anything to say?
No, I have completed. It's now over to you only.
Wonderful session, and thank you so much for your hard work in preparing the PPTs in a very simple manner. So anybody can prepare PPTs, but it should reach. It should reach. So that was very, very simple, neatly done, and you have covered a lot. For the students, definitely they would have got a definite updation on, and also they would have got enlightened about what is that they talk about Industry 4.0, and they will also prepare themselves like what is expected out of them to get a job and get employed. So beyond the classroom, what they need to study, because many things, whatever you spoke, is not in the syllabus. So all the new technologies, they have to keep pace and they need to update themselves. They need to know like what is next, next. Like they need to have that hunger in knowing about what is happening around, first of all. So attending these webinars, I think at least people will be gaining some knowledge about what is happening. As you said, in this COVID, this is a wonderful opportunity. We can meet anybody across the world and gain your knowledge. So that thanks to all these webinars and online sessions, and thanks to you also, Chokiya, for sparing so much of time for this webinar. And meet you again on another session in depth on one particular topic of this Industry 4.0. Thank you so much. Thank you all participants. Look forward to see you for the next webinar. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jansi.
Thank you, ma'am.